Fear is real, anger is real, despair is real. Do you let it consume you, or do you try to figure out what you can do positive with it? And to my mind, no wars bring peace. There's a great deal that's been done in the name of 9/11 that is appalling. And I feel kind of a personal responsibility for it, because things have been done in the name of my husband that I would never choose to have happened. And I know that he would be appalled at. You know, it's like being sideblinded for all of us. Bob was insatiably curious, and he was an obsessive traveler. His colleague described him as a student of humanity. He was a geographer, a human geographer. He really loved teaching, but I think the thing that he mostly tried hard to convey was a curiosity about the world. When the news of what plane, it's almost there was this feeling of all the shutters just slamming, like I could hear them, you know. And I think it had to do with the fact that he opened windows. All those shutters that were slamming shut were the doors and windows that he had opened for all of us. He was the person that his colleagues, his students, all of us would have gone to help us understand what 9/11 was really about. Because Bob always knew the other perspective. He always knew what was behind the obvious story. Right after 9/11, it was a bit hard. I mean, there was that initial outpouring of compassion and fellow feeling, which then very quickly dissipated into what became, for me, a really almost frightening patriotism. I hung prayer flags instead of American flags, because even though this is my country, it almost had been usurped somehow. And, you know, I would see American flags draped all over everything and think, but what is it what is it they mean now? There was other baggage with it, and I wasn't comfortable with it. I think it's a false choice to assume that if you're affected by violence, that your only choice, the only options are to either do nothing, to become passive, or to respond with violence. All of us want justice. All of us want security, but not at the cost of our humanity.
I don't remember what time it was, but
The university had a memorial service, and there must have been, I don't know, 800 people there. It was just jammed. And my daughter, Nissa, amazingly was able to speak. And she said, I know my dad would not want another person to suffer because of what happened. You know, and I thought, this kid was listening. Mothers don't raise children to kill other mothers' children. The media makes a lot out of the 10-year anniversary. Suddenly the world is reminded that it's 10 years. But it's the same every day for me. I don't forget in between anniversaries. And it's part of the reason that I'm not particularly interested in spending time at Ground Zero. That had nothing to do with his life. It happens to be the place he was killed. The place I want to be is here.